I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. I really am happy, and it was so much fun getting ready for this show. I'm telling you, going through the articles and going back to the 80s and 90s and thinking about some of the things that happened and I saw here, it was just great. And you are brave people, because you don't know what's going to pop out of my mouth. In fact, I don't know what's going to pop out of my mouth. That's the fun part. And I want to say that the free table is over there. There's lots of articles that I've cut out or saved over the years that need a home, so help me find a home for them. Take home some of the CDs, some of the songs that we're going to do today are on the CDs. And they're free, and they're for you. And I'm just going to start off by doing a song just because I really like this song, and I want to share it with you guys. And then we're going to do lots of stories and put a few more songs in between. And this one's called Down, Down, Down the Economic Slide. And one of the reasons I like it is because it sort of goes into the folk venue where you've got a reason to write a song. And this one is all encapsulated in the line, the trickle-down theory has got no upside. And so if that doesn't give you an idea what the song's about, this is called Down, Down, Down the Economic Slide. Living neath the runway, the babies cry. I need 2 new tires, and the TV, it's fried. Scratching out a living, America's pride. We're the middle class, drifting down the economic slide. Something in the news today about my pension going dry. The trickle-down theory has got no upside. I just wanna be free from this economic misery, 'cause we're going down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down on me. Sometimes there are crimes for which no one gets tried. For me, this is a sentence and it takes away my pride. The family's starting to wonder if I'm gonna make it through. I'm starting to wonder myself what I'm gonna do. Yeah, paint it red or paint it blue. I guess I'll go to the polls today and see what one vote will do. I just wanna be free from this economic misery, 'cause we're going down, down, down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down on me. We're the backbone of this country, yeah. Spend, consumer spend. But when the money's in someone else's hands, it's them that's gotta spend. They gotta loosen up the purse strings and let the jobs flow again. Help create the balance to let us live. 'Cause picking up the pieces after we come to an end will cost them more than they'll ever want to spend. I just wanna be free from this economic misery, 'cause we're going down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down on me. Virgil, can you tell me if the North really won? Seems like the cotton's gone and nothing, oh yeah, nothing's being spun. I just want to be free from this economic misery, 'cause we're going down, down, oh yeah, down, oh down, 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 on me. There you go. Thank you. I watch our kids working as hard as we did and having so much more effort to get to where they want to go. It takes longer to get the house, it takes longer to get where they want to go. That's what I'm seeing. But anyway, let's drift back to the 80s. I came here in 87, and there was Barbara Bartholomew. And this is Tuesday morning. You remember Barbara stomping her feet? And coffee hour has to end. Oh, I wish Ethel were here. Oh, Ethel would remember this. Do you remember this? And she's gotten a phone call. It's coffee hour, don't they know? And it's from one of the selectmen. So she's stomping her feet, and she's just trying not to say what she wants to say, and she's telling everybody to be quiet and go away. Well, this phone call is going to the town administrator, I can tell you that. And it's one of the selectmen, and she has a rule. Tuesday morning, the selectmen aren't to call her because she's got work to do. And she figures Monday night, they'd had their meeting, and they'd done plenty of talking then. So this one's going to the town administrator. Well, this is time. Don DeLuce, Janet O'Brien, Margaret Morris, right? And they were all very good speech makers. And Monday night, they would give their speeches. And, you know, the chair would give a speech and say where they thought the issue should go, and the next person down would probably disagree a little bit. And they'd give a speech, and the third selectman would have to give a speech if the other two had given a speech, because everybody's got to run for re-election, and you got to know what's going on. Well, then the chair would have to correct the other members and give another speech. And I'm sure you all believe what I'm telling you, because the other two would have to give another speech. Well, they often, very often, there was a third round of speeches. And I remember when Don retired, he said, well, now I can go home and watch Monday Night Football. That was with Howard Cosell. Apparently he liked Howard Cosell, but he'd never seen him for like 12 years. Now, those meetings often went past midnight. And if you can imagine 3 long speeches and however many number of issues there were that needed speeches on them, past midnight was not that unusual. And so, you know, we'd make our way home after an exciting meeting. Bill, you want to come up? You know, we'll get ready for a little song here with Bill. And we'd get through the meeting. And I remember talking to Janet one time about after-meeting types of things. And we compared notes. You know, I had a pretty good drive home. At one time, we thought we'd be moving to Hanover. And I know that the new manager, I'm pleased to hear, he and Elaine Shea went around and they found themselves a nice house and bought it here. In fact, Deb and I went around with Elaine Shea at one point in time. On Cheryl Lane, we found a house we wanted to buy, $189,000. I remember that. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to sell my house in Metro West, make a big profit, come down to South Shore, and I found that wasn't going to be that cheap. Went to the bank, and that wasn't to be. So I remember, I'm kind of detouring here, but you know, I told her I didn't know it was going to pop out. And I went to the selectman, I said, look, give me a 10-year contract, 1 raise. I won't take raises for the next 9 years. Just give me 1 raise so I can afford that mortgage. And I waited, and I waited. And I never heard anything back. And I remember asking Don, oh, this was like 15 years later. I was so not brave, I'm telling you. I finally asked him, I said, what happened for that proposal? And you know what his answer was? I don't remember that. He didn't remember that. I mean, that was a big deal to me, and I didn't remember that. So anyway, I had a big ride home, every night. But it worked great for me because, you know, I unwound the whole night home, went to bed, fell asleep just like that. And all the issues were put away until the next morning on Tuesday morning, when it started again with Barbara. But I compared. And so Barbara was the fourth selectman. She taught me my job. The selectman helped, but Barbara really taught me my job. And so when it came time for her retirement, Bill came upstairs and said, Steve, I got a few words that I'd like to sing to her. I said, okay, Bill. Put him to song, he said. Okay, Bill. I said, we'll do that. So we put together this little song, and we're going to reprise that because we did this in 1991 for her when she came to her retirement. And we're just going to adjust this microphone so we can pick up a little more Bill and a lot less Steve. Bill, can you adjust this for me? Get it so you can do what you need to do. So we're reprising 1991, okay? You with me on this? 1991. Ready?
Oh, how we'll miss you, my dear Mrs. B. How we'll get along without you is not so plain to see. Dealing with the public now ain't that a ball. Those steaming irate customers down at Old Town Hall. And when the selectmen say, now here's a job to do, they forgot that there were 3 of them and only 1 of you. And when selectmen say, now here's a job to do, just say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm getting through. With their parking tickets, they all shout out with glee. And all the things they say to you is kept confidentially. So many things to do on each and every day. And there are times when you should just sit down and pray. And when selectmen say, now here's a job to do, they forgot that there were 3 of them and only 1 of you. And when the selectmen say, now here's a job to do, just say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm getting through. Job so versatile, not a moment to be bored. The paycheck comes in every week with not much you can afford. And so the time has come for the final curtain call. You'll be missed by, not forgotten by all at Old Town Hall. And so the time has come for that final curtain call. You'll be missed, but not forgotten by all at Old Town Hall.
Here we go. Thank you, Bill. Bill, take this with you. There you go. So we did that. Big hit of the 90s, Bill. Big hit. And Barbara and I had such a great time. To kind of continue with that story there, Janet and I compared notes after selectmen meeting notes. And so, I'm telling you, I got home, went to bed, fell asleep. I was in bed before Janet. She just had to go down the road a little bit. She said, I'd go home and, you know how worked up you are after a meeting, and you know, I'd have my glass of wine and I'd relax and unwind, and I think she went to bed quite a lot after me, and I think she had more than one. Oh, I do. But one day I was complaining to Barbara, and I said, oh, my elbow hurts. What a whiner I was. My elbow hurts. I'm leaning on this hard desk, and my elbow hurts because it's so hard She went home one lunchtime and made me this. Probably the very first knee pad for the elbow. How do you like that? Isn't she amazing? That woman, she was just something. And we had some other fun there too. I gotta show you this. I can't believe I had these things. These are notes that Barbara and I started a selectman song. We started sayings of selectmen. She typed them up. Some of it's in my handwriting, some of it's hers, but this is her typewriter. And the selectmen used to say these things all the time, all these sayings. And after a while it became funny because they repeated them so many times, you know. There are some very serious issues to be addressed. No, that's not funny, but after you hear it a million times, it's funny. And it's possible to open Pandora's box. That was a favorite. But they didn't just do one, they'd run on to the next one too. So it was possible to open Pandora's box, which might be a catch-22 situation. You know, go right into the next one. No pause at all. Oh, and Barbara added this one. I don't think they ever, so they ran those two together, a catch-22 situation, at the dog and pony show. I think she added that one in, but, and then sometimes the department heads got into the act. So, you know, Ken Blanchard would always say, "That's interesting. That's interesting." That was Ken Blanchard. Oh, I'm not even going to tell you this one. You're going to tell me this one. What did Chief Tucker always say? Come on. The Chief Tucker quote? Quite frankly. Didn't he? Come on, didn't Chief Tucker always say, quite frankly? Yes. Every presentation of the Board of Selectmen had 2 or 4 or 5 or 10 of those things in there. But the one, oh, this is just, Barbara and I just near died the night this one happened. Because they always said apples and oranges, you know, mixing up issues, apples and oranges. And, you know, it was just another one of the ones. And after they said it so often, it was funny. But one night, they came out with this one. This would kill us. Apples and oranges and bananas. Who says and bananas? Apples and oranges and bananas? It didn't make sense at all. And Barbara and I just locked eyes, came right up out of our reverie or whatever we were doing, taking notes, and just started shaking. And we just bursting with mirth and glee. And it was too much. I don't know. Have you ever been in church and somebody's laughing and the pew starts shaking? You know, the whole pew and you know somebody down there is laughing at something and you can't help yourself. Well, Barbara and I, the next morning, Tuesday morning comes, we had to shut the door. We started all over again. Apples and oranges and bananas, it just got us. I don't know why. And that tradition lasted 25 years. I can remember. There are people that can verify this. There were some Tuesday mornings that I had to come into work and close the door because it was just something funny that happened at Selectmen's meeting. We just had to laugh about it. It was too good. I remember that, you know, Barbara got along in years, and I visited her. It was just over the line in Norwell. Was it Oak Knoll Nursing Home, something like that? Huh?
Norwell, though?
Yeah, thank you. And I'd drop in and say hi, whatever, bring her a town report or whatever. And she recognized me. You know, she always seemed to recognize me. And every so often I go, Barbara, apples and oranges and bananas. Just like a kid, right on cue. We'd start laughing. It was the most fun. It was the most fun. She was a terrific woman. What a wonderful woman. I'm going to ask for a little help in the back there. You ready?
I'm ready.
Now, you might have to open the doors to help up. Just a very short introduction. We're going to jump ahead into the 90s here. And another retirement happened. And there was a time when the police moved out from downstairs, and before Kathy occupied the area, Bill occupied the area. He moved from the upper part of Town Hall down to the lower part. We had to put signs everywhere to tell people the town clerk had moved downstairs. And Bill thought that was kind of funny because he was getting ready to retire. And he thought, well, everybody's going to know where I am when I'm gone. So, no, that's true, you know.
He wrote the music and the lyrics, and I guess it's based on
Here you go.
Life as a mayor.
So this is what I did for his retirement party.
You're going to be fine without it. You need that, okay.
Hi, Bill. It's been a few years.
Last time I performed, Bill was with me. Bill did the singing. We might miss that tonight, Bill. But you know, you weren't available. Bill did the words, Bill did the singing, I did the music, Bill Chapman did the guitar. Tonight, Bill, it's a solo thing. Yeah, it's a song called Mayor Bill. It came from Bill. Little conversations with Bill. You know what I mean? Anyway, Bill comes up with these odd little sayings as he goes around town hall. And so he was talking to me one day, and he noticed all the signs up around town hall saying where to find Bill. So he said, hey, they got signs up all over town hall, and in what floor I'm on. It's so nice to know where I am after I'm gone. After I'm gone to Bill. Dear Bill. You getting the drift, Bill? We're going to pick on you tonight. Now, this really started because Bill used to go to Germany, Hanover. He'd always come back and give us a little pronunciation lesson on how it should be said here. Hanover. Now, get tiresome, Bill. I'm glad you didn't go too often. That's all I can say. Anyway, every time Bill went, it's like an have some of the proclamations, a.k.a. Doris and Barbara and those people, you know. And we'd have to get a ribbon. We don't like ribbons. We'd have to get a seal. We don't like seals. He's big on seals. I'm telling you. It's got to be gold, too. Anyway, he'd come back and he said, I went over to Germany, Hanover, and me and a draft to be at that down with the mayor. And, you know, the mayor over there is like kingpin. And they go to the Rathaus, the town hall. And, you know, they sit together, and Bill was, you know, I guess he explained to the mayor that he was the highest single elected official in Hanover. So that has to be Mayor Bill, right? That's where we get Mayor Bill. But Bill thinks about a thing. Bill thinks of food sometimes. When we think of food in the clerk's office, we think of Carol. Carol pie would be more like that. Carol pie should hit the spot when I get a fork instead of a pen. I'm going to give me a tummy tuck and start all over again. Oh, yeah. It'll be fun, Bill. That's your show fit now. Bigger Bill. Bigger Bill. Claire, are you listening? Retirement means I'll have the time. It's just a matter of when. I'm young. So tell Fred I'm going to run again. So correct him. And what will the flag say in front of him? You got it now. There you go. I didn't get one like that. Oh, well, what's the thing? Well, there's only one thing that I want, he said, to replace the anchor and plow. It's a seal, right? You get that, right? It's a seal. Who thought of this part, too? Says, your bill, your bill. I just want to practice this. Your bill. That's it, Bill. Come up and get a coffee. Stay right there.
Oh, we did have a little fun with that one. Bill, I'm sad to tell you they still have the anchor on the seal. They didn't ever replace it with you. I've got to say that over the years, though, that you saw a picture of a bunch of selectmen there. I'm glad to know that we got Bob White here. And I'm pleased to see Bob for a number of reasons, but he represents the best of the selectmen in this. And he was just a wonderful selectman, classy. He did the work, he put in the time, real gentleman about the whole thing, but always had the heart of Hanover in everything that he did. And I just always admired that. And I want to say something about the selectmen. You know, I was here 25 years, and I worked for over 20 selectmen. I was going to say I served 20 selectmen, and then I thought about saying I survived 20 selectmen, and then I thought about saying a lot of things I could say. But the one thing I really want to say that was so important and lasts with me always is about the board always had compassion for the employees or the needs. When something serious happened, they always took care of those things, right, Bob? They took care of the employees or somebody. And they did not get recognized for those things. Those were mostly quietly done. And that was board after board after board. For 25 years I saw this take place, and it just got passed on quietly. And that's something to be really proud of, and it's a thing that I take with me. And I remember talking to Joe, our new town manager. The first thing I said, I hope you see that side of Hanover, because that's what I remember most about Hanover. And so when these ladies were up here earlier, I was going, yes, it's still here. I'm so proud of that. I'm so pleased. And on behalf of all the selectmen, can we recognize Bob as a selectman on behalf of all of them? I just want to thank you. Wonderful. And you're a great guy, just as a regular gentleman. One of the other jobs that I did over the years, for 3 years, I had been a veterans agent before I came here in Weston, and then over the years, I filled in as veterans agent when the job was open here in Hanover. 3, 4 times I did that here. You know, some major gaps. And I learned some terrible truths, you know, especially like the third visit in with these veterans. And it wasn't all just getting the education benefits. And so this is some stories that I learned. And there's just so many stories that come out of that job. And so this isn't one of those rah-rah over there type of songs. But one totally unusual thing that it was almost unheard of to have a veterans agent who's not a veteran. I'm not a veteran. In fact, anybody remember the draft? Anybody remember the draft? Oh my gosh, I was in college at the time. And so, you know, they used to put all our birthdays, 365 of them in a bowl, pull them out one at a time. That's draft number 1. Those people with that birth date, they went first, you know, and they'd pull 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. I remember how many people they needed to train up and to go to those awful things that they were doing. And, you know, my family, my brother was in the service, my father, all the uncles, you know, had a proud tradition of military service in my family. But, you know, this was not a war that I was interested in. I didn't know what to do because my draft number came up pretty low. And, you know, I'd gone to high school with a church that had Mennonite-based ministers, and, you know, they were conscientious objectors. So, you know, that was something I could consider. I could go into the military officer corps and put off the decision for a few years, or I could just wait and, you know, let's see what happened. And I did that. I kind of waited and see, well, maybe see if they got to my number. They did. They got to my number, and I didn't get a letter, and I didn't get a call, and they got to the next number. I didn't get a letter, and they got to the next number, and then they stopped the draft entirely. I have no explanation to this day. And you'd think that was the end of the story, except the great ironies of life. A few years later, I was a veterans agent, you know, and I was taking care of these people. They were coming home with their issues and their needs, whatever they needed, a roof, you know, service. And I was proud to do that. And it was just such a different insight into it. And it was such a different way to serve. And the one thing I learned was that everybody that went to war came back wounded. They came back wounded emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. They all came back wounded. And, you know, the things that I would not have known had I been just meeting somebody and chatting with them on the street, I got to hear, especially that third visit in the office. And these are some of their stories, and, you know, I got to put them into song. So this song is called Wounded. We marched into that place, organized in twos. Suddenly bullets ripped us through and through, through and through, through and through, through and through, through and through. Some were good soldiers, and others were more fun. They died in groups, but really, one by one, one by one, one one by one, one by one. Some faces stared at me and others at the sky. The scenes I carry now come back by and by, by and by, by and by, by and by, by and by. I did not freeze, so I did not die. I was not hurt, so I did not cry, but I do, yes I do, but I do, yes I do. Thank you. Now we're going to take a dive back into the 90s. And I'm so glad to see Marilyn here today. Marilyn DeBoer, what a wonderful career you had, and what wonderful service you had to the town. And I'm so glad to honor you, because we didn't get to honor you at your retirement time. Bill did the same trick. Steve, I got some lyrics here. I didn't finish them, but I got some started. You want to do a song for Marilyn? I said, sure. So actually, Bill and I wrote some lyrics together. I don't think Bill's ever seen the final product because we never presented them. We never did it. We never did it. So Marilyn, yes, here's a partial song for you. But I want to talk about this for a minute. I like this. I think I'll leave it on. Kind of. Yeah, it was something. You and Ethel and Marilyn, you were like that time, you were the power trio of the town hall. This is before Joan showed up on the scene. She was a power trio all by herself. So this is when the nurse's office was up where the selectman's office was, in that little room. That's the lunchroom. Is it still the lunchroom? The lunchroom. Yeah. Well, that used to be the visiting nurse's office, and so we would see people come up the ramp, and they'd turn the little left-hand turn, and they'd go into the nurse's office. And Marilyn was a powerhouse of energy and doing all sorts of things. And people would come up, and she would collect, especially the holidays. We must not forget the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And she would collect from all the businesses all these cards and things and things to give out. And it's not just the giving out, the people that came of need, right? And who were back to the compassion at Hanover that I so distinctly remember and feel. I still feel that feeling whenever I think of this. It was also the people that came to give. And I remember the little Salinas family coming up and the little Leahy family coming up. And the kids were there with their gifts, and the little food things. The oh, you know, the cans of food, you know, and the stuffing, you know, and the big plates were carried by the he-men of the family, right? You know, that type of thing. And they'd come up and turn the corner going, and it just made such a powerful memory and image in my mind. And Marilyn was in charge of the whole thing, and the big room was row after row after row filled up, right until the selectmen couldn't even hold a meeting, so we thought. But Barbara would come in and say, Marilyn, you got to shove those rows back so we can have a meeting. Well, they'd go back for a while, then they'd creep forward even more. And it was just wonderful to see all that type of thing. So Bill came up with the idea we're going to do Charlie on the MBTA, except it was going to be Marilyn on the VNA. So I'm pleased to honor you with a little moment here with your unfinished song. All right? Oh Marilyn DeBoer, this is your finest day. We've gathered here to give you praise for your time on the VNA. 30 years of service to the town that loves you true. However did you do that all without a cell phone nearby you? Think about it. Remember that blue station wagon you drove around? 2 generations of that blue station wagon. It's okay, folks. Did you ever think about being Marilyn DeBoer? Only she knows where she's put her oar. She wouldn't say a patient's name, but we heard all their symptoms just the same. And every time we get a pain, we think, Marilyn DeBoer knows our woes. What's wrong where the sun don't shine? Only Marilyn truly knows. Every day, as a nurse, you would give comfort to those in need. With Christmas and Thanksgiving, the supreme effort indeed. Those great works have been performed for over 30 years, helping both the sick and poor through hard times and their tears. You will be missed, and we're here right now to say you were the best to serve us all on the Hanover VNA. 30 years of service to the town that loves you true. However, did you do that all without a cell phone nearby you? There you go, Marilyn. Thank you for your service. You finally got your song. We're going to wind up with a final song here. I just want to mention that the free table's over there. Come visit, come talk, pick up some articles, find a home for them. Pick up a CD. A lot of these songs are on the various CDs over there. And I hear that Ellie is on the board here, Ellie Kimball. And so I found a VCR tape of Ellie Kimball's retirement party. It is hilarious. It is the funniest retirement party you've ever been to. I mean, it would be not allowed in today's world. So I created a DVD of it last week, and it's over there, and I'd like somebody to take it and give it to Ellie, if you would. I think she should watch that. I think she'd enjoy it very much. And like I said, there's articles about the Council on Aging, Town Hall, the new high school, Doug Thompson. There might even be one about you, Kathy. There's a lot of articles about a lot of people over there, and I don't think anyone will embarrass any one of you. And I'd like to bring to your attention about 2027 in the future. There is a time capsule over at Town Hall that's going to be opened up underneath the anchor and plow bill. You got to dig it up. Might need a little help on that. Just by the parking lot. And there's a whole series that I did with a lot of help, Colleen Smith and the TV station and a bunch of selectmen. Bob Boy was interviewed in one of those. In fact, there's some DVDs of you, Bob, some extras I had, and some extras of other selectmen over there I'd like you to take if you want them and share them around. And that whole series is at the library. I called them the other week. I said, okay, you got that out. Where do I tell people to go if they want to borrow it? And you can borrow that and learn about that time capsule and all the things that were happening back at that time. It's on the first floor. Just ask for the DVD section. They put it on the last spot so they can find it easy. There you go. Last isn't always bad. This is our wedding song. It's called My Wind Chimes. So we wrote this one together. I was sitting at the table with my fiance. And I said, I need some help with the lyrics. I can't finish this song. So Deb kindly helped me finish the lyrics, and I snuck it down to somebody who was going to sing at the wedding. And he sang it at the wedding. She didn't know that. Oh, it was so much fun.
Before the bridal reception.
Yep. She's standing at the doorway, all in her glory, that wonderful white gown with her.
Sobbing, and my father's like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" I thought I changed my mind.
Oh, I should have let the poor man in on the news, but he didn't know what was happening. Oh, she made it down the aisles, and we're well into our over 40 years now. It's worked out pretty well. So this is Wind Chimes. Thanks, Deb. Who will answer my wind chimes? Will it be you or me? Who will answer my wind chimes? Will it be you or me? I try to tell you not to worry. It's because of you I try and sing. I really want to be with you alone, and yet be free, and yet be free. Who will answer my wind chimes? Will it be you or me? Who will answer my wind chimes? Will it be you or me? I wait in hopes that you won't tarry. Do you hear my wind chimes ring? They're calling you to come and share your life with me, your life with me. Who will answer my wind chimes? Will it be you or me? In the wind they seem to whisper, marry me, marry me. Thank you very much. Come join me.